tasty recipes on your favorite C&B cooking and barbecue channel, Culinary Vladness.
All right, everyone, get ready. Because today we're taking a deep dive into, well, something that might seem a little basic at first. Brown rice.
Oh, yeah.
But trust me, folks.
Basic, but important.
The research that we dug up, the nutritional info, and get this, a whole bunch of recipes too. It's all pretty surprising.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing, the stuff that we found.
And I gotta be honest, I've definitely been guilty of just grabbing the white rice out of, sheer laziness or habit or whatever.
Yeah.
But I am ready to be totally convinced on why brown rice should be, a regular on my plate.
Right.
It's with all these delicious sounding recipes. I'm excited to get into that later.
Yeah. So when we were researching this, one of the things that really stood out to me is people don't realize the difference between brown rice and white rice nutritionally.
Right.
It's a whole grain, right?
Uh-huh.
Brown rice. It's got the bran and the germ, unlike white rice, where they've been polished away.
Oh, okay.
And that's where all the good stuff is. All the nutrients are hiding in those layers.
So it's not just about we all know brown rice is good for fiber.
Right.
But it's more than that.
Oh, yeah.
Because, looking through this research, there's vitamins and minerals, all sorts of stuff.
Exactly. Think about B vitamins, which we all need for energy.
Yeah.
Minerals like magnesium, that can help with everything from your muscles to how well you sleep at night. And brown rice has got this surprisingly high amount of manganese.
Okay, now you're getting into things that I don't even really think about.
Right.
Manganese is not on my nutritional radar. What does that even do?
Well, okay, for one thing, it's important for bone health.
Okay.
And it helps your body actually use carbs and fats efficiently.
Interesting.
But also, it acts as an antioxidant.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
Antioxidants in brown rice.
Yeah.
I always think of blueberries and dark chocolate, that kind of stuff.
Right. You think of the brightly colored fruits.
Yeah, exactly. So brown rice, huh?
Brown rice, yeah. I know. It's kind of unexpected.
So remind me, what do antioxidants actually do?
Okay, so they fight free radicals, which are basically these unstable molecules in your body that can cause damage over time to your cells.
Okay.
And that damage is linked to, all sorts of stuff we want to avoid, like premature aging.
Right.
And chronic diseases.
And some of these sources that we're looking at, they actually cite some pretty fascinating clinical trials, some from as recent as 2022.
Yeah.
That show that brown rice could play a role in actually preventing some of these chronic conditions.
Yeah, for sure.
There was research on gut health, kidney health, even something called diabetic nephropathy, which I had to look up.
Right.
But it's not just these vague claims. This is actual science.
Yeah, actual scientific studies. It's amazing.
Yeah. So it's not just oh, this is good for you, but they actually tested it.
Exactly. And one of the cool things that the research is finding is that these low protein brown rice varieties, they might be really beneficial for actually managing and preventing some of these diseases.
Okay, you've officially opened my eyes. I am looking at brown rice in a whole new way.
Good.
But I have a confession.
Oh, yeah.
I have messed up brown rice more times than I care to admit.
Oh, I hear you. I've been there.
Sometimes it comes out perfect.
Yes.
And other times it's just mush.
Mushy, yeah.
I'm just what happened? So do these sources that we have, do they talk about how to cook brown rice properly?
They do, yeah. There are some really great tips. First of all, ditch the absorption method, which is what a lot of the packages, will tell you to do.
Right.
Because that often leads to uneven cooking and, mushy rice.
Okay, so what's the secret? What am I supposed to do?
Well, boiling is actually a really good method.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure that you're using plenty of water.
Okay.
2.5 cups for every cup of rice. Oh, wow. Okay.
And don't skip the steaming step.
The steaming step.
After you drain it.
After you drain it.
Yeah, that's really key to getting the right texture.
Okay, so boil it, drain it, steam it.
Exactly.
Got it. And this works for all kinds of brown rice, short grain, long grain.
Yeah, pretty much. Unless it's a quick cooking variety.
Okay.
Those usually have their own specific instructions.
All right. Well, now I'm really curious about these recipes because, I was looking through the sources earlier and the breakfast options really caught my eye.
Oh yeah, the breakfast ones are really cool.
Brown rice for breakfast, it's not something that I would normally think about.
Yeah, it's kind of a new idea for most people.
But there's some really creative ideas. There's one for breakfast fried rice with kale and egg, which sounds amazing.
Oh yeah, that one's delicious. packed with veggies, protein from the egg.
It's like a whole meal. Like you can just make that in the morning and you're set.
Yeah, it's great for a busy morning.
Yeah.
And then there was the brown rice breakfast porridge,
Yes.
which kind of reminds me of oatmeal, which I love.
It is. Like it's kind of a twist on oatmeal.
Yeah, yeah.
You can add all the same toppings, fruit, nuts, seeds, maybe a drizzle of honey or maple syrup, whatever you like.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Yeah.
And since brown rice is so high in fiber, I'm thinking those breakfast options would be a great way to start the day feeling full and energized.
Totally, because that fiber is going to help regulate your blood sugar,
Okay.
which can prevent those mid-morning energy crashes, which we all hate.
Yes.
And it helps with digestion and gut health, which, is really important for everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So, we've talked about how brown rice is way more nutritious than we might have realized.
Yeah.
We've got tips on how to actually cook it right so it's not mushy.
Exactly.
We've got some recipe ideas, especially for breakfast, which is something I'm really intrigued by.
Yeah, me too.
So stay tuned, folks, because we are just getting started with this deep dive into brown rice.
It's going to be good. Plus, a high-fiber diet can even help with weight management.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it keeps you feeling full
Okay, yeah,
and satisfied, so you're less likely to overeat.
that makes sense.
So, starting your day with some brown rice, you're not just getting a good meal, you're setting yourself up for a better day overall.
Yeah, like that.
More energy, better focus.
I'm definitely sold on the breakfast idea, but what about lunch or dinner?
Oh yeah, tons of options.
Did these sources have any interesting recipes for later in the day?
Oh, absolutely. Brown rice is so versatile. You can use it in stir fries, soups, stews, salads,
Oh, wow.
anything really. There's even a recipe for veggie burgers made with brown rice.
Veggie burgers.
Yeah, with brown rice. I know, right?
Okay.
It sounds amazing. I'm always looking for ways to sneak more veggies into my diet.
Right.
And this seems like a really good way to do it.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm a big fan of grain bowls.
Oh yeah, green bowls are great.
They're so easy. And I feel like brown rice would be a really good base for a grain bowl.
Totally. You can get so creative with them. Just imagine fluffy brown rice, some roasted veggies, maybe some grilled chicken or fish,
Yeah.
some black beans, avocado, a drizzle of your favorite sauce.
You're making me hungry. It's amazing how, brown rice can go from just this plain side dish to, the star of the show.
It really can. It's a blank canvas.
Yep.
And let's not forget all the health benefits we talked about.
Right.
The fiber, the antioxidants, vitamins, minerals.
Kind of a powerhouse, huh?
It really is, yeah.
So I'm curious about some of the specific research that we found. There was a study from 2024
Mm-hmm.
that was published in Food and Function, and it was looking at the effects of whole grain germinated brown rice
Right?
on gut microbiota and lipid profiles.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. That was fascinating.
They were using mice for this study.
Yeah, they were.
But have you had a chance to look at that one?
I did, yeah. It was really interesting. They found that the germinated brown rice actually improved the gut microbiome in the mice.
Okay.
And it helped reduce high levels of triglycerides and cholesterol,
Oh, wow.
which, those are both major risk factors for heart disease
Right.
and diabetes.
So this is suggesting that brown rice could have a positive impact on our metabolism.
Yeah, exactly. It just adds to the evidence that brown rice is, a good thing to include in your diet.
Yeah. There was another study that I thought was really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
It was focusing on what they call the gut-kidney axis
Okay.
and how a low-protein diet featuring brown rice could potentially slow down the progression of chronic kidney disease.
Yeah, that's a really important area of research.
Right.
And the results of that study were really promising.
Okay.
They found that this dietary intervention with brown rice, it really helps improve gut health. And it had a positive impact on kidney function.
It's kind of wild to think that something as simple as choosing brown rice
Right?
could have such a big impact on our health.
I know. It is pretty amazing. And there's another trial
Okay.
I think is worth mentioning that looked at low-protein brown rice for the prevention of diabetic nephropathy.
Oh, yeah. I think that one was done by researchers from Tokyo University of Agriculture
That's the one.
and Keio University, right?
Yeah.
They published their findings in, I think it was the journal Diabetes Complications.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the research was basically highlighting the potential of brown rice in reducing the risk of this like serious diabetes complications.
Exactly.
It's amazing how much research is being done on brown rice these days.
I know, it's really exciting.
You've gone way beyond just, thinking of it as a side dish.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, we've covered so much in this deep dive.
Yeah, we have.
From, the nutrition of brown rice compared to white rice, the best ways to cook it, all these amazing recipe ideas. I'm feeling inspired to, get more creative with brown rice in my kitchen.
Me too. I hope our listeners are feeling the same way.
Yeah. But before we wrap up, I feel like there's one more thing we should talk about.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
We've talked about, how good brown rice is for us.
Right.
But what about, the environment?
Good point.
How sustainable is brown rice production?
Well, rice farming in general, it can contribute to those greenhouse gas emissions.
Oh, right.
Especially methane.
Yeah. One of the sources mentioned something about that.
Yeah, it's because, the rice paddies.
Yeah.
They're flooded with water, right?
Right.
And that creates, the perfect environment for these bacteria to thrive.
Okay.
And they release methane.
Oh, wow.
As a byproduct.
So is that a bad thing, the methane?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Because methane is a much more potent greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide.
Oh, okay. So are we saying that, choosing brown rice is actually bad for the environment?
Well, not necessarily. There are ways to farm rice more sustainably
Okay.
that can reduce those emissions significantly.
Like what?
Well, one example is there's a technique called alternate wetting and drying,
Okay.
where instead of keeping the patties flooded all the time, they drain them periodically.
Oh, okay.
And that cuts down on the methane.
So it's less water, less of those bacteria that are producing the methane.
Exactly, yeah.
Are there other ways to make rice farming more sustainable?
Yeah, definitely. Researchers are working on developing new varieties of rice that are more water efficient and just naturally produce less methane.
Oh, wow.
And then there are things like, organic farming methods,
Right.
reducing pesticide use, improving water management.
So it sounds like there are things that we as consumers can actually do to make better choices
Yeah, for sure.
about the brown rice that we're buying.
Definitely. You can look for brands that, are committed to these sustainable practices. Some certifications to look for are organic,
Right.
fair trade,
Yeah.
and the Sustainable Rice Platform.
Okay.
These all mean that the rice was grown in a way that's better for the environment.
Okay. That's really good to know. I'm definitely going to be looking out for those labels now.
Yeah, it's good to be aware of that stuff.
Yeah, it's good to know that we can enjoy brown rice,
Right.
but also be mindful of, the planet at the same time.
Exactly. It's all about, making informed choices
Yeah.
that align with our values.
Yeah.
And I think that's, a big takeaway from this whole deep dive on brown rice.
Yeah.
It's not just about the health benefits. It's also about the bigger picture,
For sure.
Where does our food come from? How is it produced?
Right. It's not just about what we eat, but where it comes from, how it's grown.
Exactly.
So I guess to kind of wrap things up,
Yeah.
what would you say is the most important thing for our listeners to remember about brown rice?
I would say, just remember that it's more than just a side dish.
Right.
It really is a nutritional powerhouse. It's got all that fiber, the vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. It's so versatile in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You can use it for so many different recipes.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Exactly. And if you choose it from, sustainable sources,
Right.
you can feel good about that too.
Awesome. Well, I feel like we've learned a lot today.
Me too. Yeah. It's been a good deep dive.
I am definitely inspired to start cooking with brown rice more often.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Those breakfast recipes are calling my name.
Yes, I know.
I'm going to try those.
Me too. So for all of you listening out there, maybe try swapping white rice for brown rice in your next meal.
Yeah,
Experiment with a new recipe.
for sure.
Or, look for those brands that are committed to those sustainable practices that we talked about.
Exactly.
And if you find any amazing brown rice recipes,
Yes.
share them with us.
We want to hear about it.
We'd love to hear about your brown rice adventures in the kitchen.
Absolutely. We're always looking for new ideas.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of brown rice.
It's been fun.
I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Until next time, happy cooking and happy eating.
Find out more fun and tasty recipes on your favorite C&B cooking and barbecue channel, Culinary Vladness.